This is Rugby Roundup. Coming up, Moseley blow their big chance of championship survival. Bees coach Eugene Martin looks ahead to a long trip to Ayr, and Brian Dick discusses the merits of the British and Irish Cup. Hello and welcome to Brian Dick's Rugby Roundup. As the title suggests, I'm joined in our studios today by the voice of Midlands Rugby, Brian Dick. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Andy. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Well, the first topic of discussion today is Moseley and their disappointing 26-19 defeat to Bedford on Saturday. Well, despite that result, head coach Ian Smith was taking the positives.
I think we showed tremendous character. I think that we battled well. I think with the disruptions we had through injuries and positional changes, it was always going to make it difficult, especially against a side of Bedford's calibre. I think and the real Bedford turned up today. Sometimes we'd be quite lucky and get the other Bedford, we weren't. So we had a full-on Bedford team against a little bit of disruption, disorganisation, but we actually battled very well. Tremendous character. There were times in the game, especially just after half-time, we could have made the game a little bit easier by choosing easier options, territorial options, but we didn't. As I say, we were quite disrupted, but fair play to the boys. They showed tremendous character to come back and at least get a secure bonus point. So, I mean, you know, Bedford, as I said, is a very, very good side, and they took some containing. We did it for a few tranches of the game, but what we couldn't do was actually exploit that and play ourselves sometimes. So, put ourselves in a little bit of pressure. They came back with tremendous character against a very, very good side.
Well, Brian, you were at Billsley Common on Saturday, and bear in mind that their next two league fixtures are against the top two. That just highlights how much of a devastating result that was for Moseley, doesn't it? It
was. I mean, as Ian said there were positives, but you can't escape the fact that was a massive missed opportunity. They've now got to take something from either Exeter away a week on Saturday or their last league game against Bristol. That's going to be really hard for them to do that. The real problem is that they're not the side they were last season. They've lost some key players. And basically they're playing at the moment with just a set of forwards and a 10 that kicks goals, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough to beat sides like Exeter and Bristol.
Well, although Moseley's current league position is worrying, it's not as worrying as Birmingham and Solihull Bees, who yet again lost, this time 24-7 to Coventry. Well, Brian, bear in mind Coventry's kind of financial predicament is similar to Bees. I suppose that would have been a game that they would have half expected getting something out.
Well, for a side that hasn't won for as long as they have, there aren't going to be many more inviting fixtures than Coventry, because Coventry aren't playing well at the moment. Bees' big problem was that once again they were totally crumpled in the forwards. Coventry dominated them. Even so, Bees were able to create some try-scoring chances. They weren't able to take them. But you look at the rest of their fixtures, and it's difficult to say that they've got a better opportunity at getting that first win before the playoffs than the one they lost on Friday night.
Well, it's a well-earned, well, not well-earned, but it's a much-needed break from the league for Bees this weekend as they travel to Ayr in the British and Irish Cup. And here is Bees coach Eugene Martin's thoughts on that fixture.
It's like any English side that moves north when they're playing a Scotland side. They're going to see it as Scotland versus England. But, mate, I've spoken to you before many times, and I look at it more like Scotland versus the United Nations. We've got that many countries involved in this side, so, mate, I think we need to continually keep that front row combination going forward. And from Friday, where I thought they had a great start with Stu Philpott, Leo Halavatau and Maro, I think we're going to carry on with the trend, and it's about game time for them, to be honest.
Brian, it's both of our Birmingham teams weekend in the British and Irish Cup. As I said there, Bees travel to Ayr, Moseley travel to Aberavon. What's the chances of either side getting something from these fixtures?
Well, Moseley will go to Aberavon looking for a win. They'll probably field a much changed side. They haven't got the biggest squad in the world, but they have got a few guys that haven't played much rugby lately. The backs, they haven't got a lot of options in the back, so they'll probably be similar to the ones that played against Bedford. In the pack, there's a few guys that could come in and make a real impression. With big games to come, playoffs to come, there's guys like Andy Hall, Harry Rowlands, people like that could really come in and set a marker down for the rest of the season. And Bees, they've got a long journey. what they'll find out from this, I don't know. They're in a situation that all of their games this season are they're just preparation for the playoffs. Once again, they'll travel, they'll make some changes, and they'll be looking to try and perm this match day 22 that they think's got the best chance of keeping them in the Championship.
Okay. Well, of course, Rugby Round isn't just about Moseley and Birmingham Solihull Bees. We're also going to touch on Stourbridge, and just a brief word to finish the show on that, Brian. Obviously, Stourbridge are away at Blaydon this weekend, and their last 2 away defeats were heavy to say the least, weren't they?
Yeah, well, no doubt. Thank you for pointing that out, Andy. 89 points conceded at Esher, 71 at Tynedale last Saturday. It'll be with a certain amount of trepidation they go back up to the north east again. What Stourbridge are really having problems with, again, like Birmingham Solihull, is in the pack. They really struggle to get a foothold against Tynedale, and for all the quality they've got in the backs, no ball is no point.
Okay, Brian, thanks for joining us today, and thank you for watching. Of course, you can send your questions on all rugby issues to Brian on the email address that's scrolling along the screen now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the same time next week.